Welcome to our channel. On today's video, we're going to be looking at the top 10 highest murder rate places in the United States. Americans assume that the United States is a safe place, but when compared to other countries, there's several large metropolitan areas in the United States that are just as dangerous as some of the most dangerous countries in the world. This video took a lot of research, and I would thank you if you gave me a like and a comment. We found places like Industry, California with murder rates as high as 900 out of 100,000. In case you're not familiar with what a murder rate is, it's usually out of 100,000 people. So 10 out of 100,000 means that 10 people were killed out of 100,000 population. A town of 500 people can have a very high murder rate for 1 year if, for example, one single person is lost. However, a large city like Chicago can have 500 murders and it still not be a very high murder rate. Some of the places that we have found are going to shock you because the numbers are so high. A lot of rural places can have incredibly high murder rates, and even though they have a small population, if they're able to pull it off back to back, year to year, then that is their murder rate. Today, battles are fought with information, and a lot of times the larger cities are always going to be on these lists. But when you start to look for analytical information, you're going to discover that smaller places and even rural areas can be very dangerous as well. On our video, we're not trying to make the information fit our narrative. We're letting the information speak for itself, and some of the results that we found are quite shocking. Across the United States, homicide rose on average 30% in 2020, and then another 24% through the following year. Means that murder rates are higher than they've ever been in many cities across the United States. We're not just going to give you numbers here on this video, we're going to try to illustrate exactly how dangerous these numbers are. Many of the highest murder rates are small incorporated areas outside of large cities. They almost represent neighborhoods within a larger city, and some of these murder rates are so high that it would be the equivalent to you dying from a murder, coming back to life, and then being killed again with certainty, assuming your lifespan would be 100 years. We're going to try to make this easy for you to understand. Number 1 is East St. Louis, with a murder rate ranging from 86 to 675. If you lived here for 10 years, you would have a 6% chance of being murdered. And that's not a wild statistic for 1 year. As you can see on the chart, they've been able to consistently do that. Imagine if you could get specific neighborhood murder rate information for some of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the United States. If you lived here for 20 years, you could have a 20% chance of being murdered in some neighborhoods. Those are some very grim statistics. A recent study of inner city neighborhoods in the United States found that 1 out of 4 African American males in a particular neighborhood would either be killed or be sentenced for a murder within his lifespan. Keep in mind that even large cities like St. Louis have really good safe neighborhoods, and most of this crime is centered in just particular areas. Moving on to number 2, Southwest Alabama, in particular an area around the city of Compton. Despite being a rural area, murder rates here range from 44 to 114 out of 100,000. You'll notice as we go through this list that a particular area in the Deep South dominates this list. I'm going to show you analytical information on this video more than any other video I've ever made, because there's always individuals who for some reason or another want to call you a liar. So let's talk about specific numbers. Pine Hill, Alabama, 114. Camden, Alabama, 54. Uniontown, Alabama, 44. These are ridiculously high murder rates, and despite this being a rural area, it is a very dangerous place to be, just like any large inner city. Number 3, Birmingham, Alabama. The area around Birmingham holds a murder rate between 50 to 75 out of 100,000. In the case of nearby Fairfield, which is right near Birmingham within the urban core of the city, a murder rate of 75 was reported. Now, the Birmingham area itself has always had a high murder rate, but recently it has increased dramatically, with cities on the outskirts of Birmingham that have never had a bad murder rate having incredibly high murder rates. Other places like Anniston have always had a bad murder rate. The same thing can be said about Etowah, which never had a bad murder rate. Recently, their murder rate is dramatically high. There's a list online of all the murders that happened in Birmingham in the year 2021. They started off the first 3 days of the year with a murder on every single day. Birmingham is definitely one of the most dangerous cities in the country, and sadly, it's increasing. Moving on to number 4, the city of St. Louis itself. I'm grouping these cities whenever I can to represent regions, but in the case of St. Louis and East St. Louis, there's a dramatic difference in the murder rate. Therefore, they're going to occupy 2 of the 10 spots on this list. I tried the best that I could not to do that, but the murder rates were so different that I had to do it. Now, the city of St. Louis itself is a beautiful city, one of my favorite cities in the United States. Unfortunately, not only is the city of St. Louis itself extremely dangerous, but many of the suburban areas on the north side of the city hold murder rates that are among the highest in the country. Some of these census-designated places are almost like neighborhoods of the city of St. Louis that are not within city limits, and they hold murder rates from 65 all the way to 127, meaning that they are more dangerous than countries like El Salvador and Honduras. The city of St. Louis and the surrounding area is very dangerous. Number 5 is West Memphis, Arkansas, holding murder rates from 65 to 118 out of 100,000. Now, these small towns along the Arkansas-Tennessee border hold some of the scariest murder rates in the United States. Vlad TV recently interviewed an artist that was arrested in this area. In the interview, he detailed a lifestyle of shootouts and an unimaginable level of violence in this part of the country. There's always somebody in the comment section who wants to argue with you about how West Memphis and the surrounding areas are beautiful places to live. You can't dispute these numbers. These are statistics. Never ceases to amaze me how people can live in denial about the situation the area they're living in is facing, as if I made up these numbers. I didn't make these numbers up. Moving on to number 6, Baltimore, with a murder rate between 52 and 58. Baltimore's situation is very different than the rest of the towns on this list. It is the only place in Maryland that has an incredibly high murder rate, all of which is confined to the city limits. And in that aspect, Baltimore is really unique with its murder situation. It almost seems as if the state of Maryland decided to put all of its crime in one place. Different from the rest of the places on this list in that it doesn't cover an entire region of really high crime rates and murder rates, but just a conjunction all in one place. Going to show that it's not a regional problem, but more like all of the crime for some reason seems to just end up in the same area. And as a metropolitan area, Baltimore is actually one of the wealthiest places in the country. I didn't believe it. It's just all within city limits. Moving on to number 7, Opelousas, Louisiana, with a murder rate ranging from 25 to 55. We're back to the regional murder rate areas. Nearby is New Orleans and Baton Rouge, 2 places that did not make this list, but are consistently having to deal with high murder rates. In the last few years, there's been a spike in murder here, and as places nearby like Baton Rouge and New Orleans are dealing with their murder problems, it seems like a lot of the action is shifting into other areas. Going back to the notion that this is really a regional problem. New Orleans was known for many years to be a murder capital. However, as you can see here, despite being a high murder rate, at least it's slowly starting to go on a decline. Baton Rouge, on the other hand, is out of control with rising murder rates. In the future, it could definitely end up on a list like this. And the murder rate in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama are all in the same southern region of these states. Number 8 is Jackson, Mississippi, with a murder rate between 21 to 47. Some of the adjacent areas, like Vicksburg, dominate the state. Again, a regional problem. It's all centered in one region of the state. Not only is the murder rate high in this area of Mississippi, but sadly, it's going up at an incredible rate. As unsettling as this situation may appear to be, there's no end in sight. Surprisingly, we have file footage for all of the places on this list. You guys really don't give me good places to go to. In 2021, the murder rate in Jackson was the highest in the entire nation at 80 out of 100,000. It's higher than Atlanta, higher than Chicago, higher than Detroit. 155 victims. If we went by that year alone, it would be the number 1 on this list. Number 9 is Detroit, Michigan, with a murder rate between 33 to 54. The city has never had those high murder rate spikes, but is a consistent. Somewhat similar to Baltimore, a lot of this stuff is happening within the city of Detroit, and it's not spread out over the region. The metropolitan area actually has about 5 million people, with some beautiful suburbs, incredible shopping, some of the best food in the entire nation, and considerably less snow than the rest of the state of Michigan. It actually gets a snowfall amount similar to Louisville, Kentucky. As you drive north out of Detroit, the snowfall numbers do climb. As uncomfortable as the city's reputation may be, I want you to know that as a metropolitan area, it is highly underrated and it offers a lot of great stuff. But if you're within the city limits of Detroit, you don't even want to stop at a stop sign as soon as it starts getting dark. Being within city limits at night is scary. Moving on to number 10, Dayton, Ohio, with a murder rate between 17 to 34, may not have these drastic spikes in murder rate, but it has been consistently considered one of the most dangerous cities in the country. The city is littered with gang territories, has a crippling economy, and there's no end in sight to all the problems and depressing vibes you'll get in this place. Other cities nearby like Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and Youngstown could have almost made this list. And this is really one of the only regions outside of the Deep South where you're going to find these staggering numbers even in smaller towns. A lot of the bigger cities in Ohio have this problem. Cleveland may come to mind as well. Columbus is starting to clean up, but it's got a long way to go. And there you are. These are the 10 murder capital regions of the country. Did anything on this list surprise you? And is there something missing from this list that you expected to see? Perhaps Oakland, California? It didn't even come close. We deal with real information. There's no agenda when we make these videos. We study the analytics and we give you exactly what the situation on the ground is without any type of agenda or motive. And sometimes that information is able to offend people who think that the reason you're saying it is because you're trying to take a stab at them. Gathering the information for this video took a lot of time, studying analytics, comparing it to other areas, and the only hope we have for this video to be worth the effort is that you'll hit the like button and give me a comment so that all my hard work can turn into future views on YouTube through the analytics, letting the algorithm know that you liked our videos. If there's any idea that you guys would like to give us, you can go to southernlifeyt@gmail and send me a private message. But it's even better if you just hit the comment section. And if you're moving in the future and you need consulting, you just need somebody you can talk to and give you some ideas or some more information. As you guys know, every single clip that we've used on this video is from our own personal travels, not from some type of online video source. That means that we have a lot of experience and we can help you avoid a bad decision with our knowledge. So if by any chance you're moving, you can also send me an email to southernlifeyt@gmail.com, and for $200, I'll give you 2 hours of my time as a consulting service to help you get the information you may need. And that information can be anything. It could be from moving to your business, to my personal opinion, to what color you should paint your donk. Whatever the crap you need, I am here to help you. As long as you pay me, I'll consult you. As long as it's not related to your marriage, I don't even understand my own marriage. How the crap can I help you with yours? Most people that we've talked to have been able to knock it out in less than 2 hours, and the information that I'm going to give you is going to be worth thousands of dollars of your own time and travel. We'll also travel anywhere you want if you pay for the travel expenses. Let's say you want me to spend 3 days in Oklahoma City recording neighborhoods. You tell me what you want, and like for $700, we'll do it for you. If it's something a little closer to home, like Tennessee or Georgia or South Carolina, maybe for something like $500 or $600. And if it's here in Florida, the Sunshine State where we live, maybe $200 or $300. I could go check out the place you want to see in detail, uploading 45 minutes video so you can really get to understand what the crap you need to know. So hey, you can help me make money, and I can help you make money. So let's say you're interested in looking at a particular area of Orlando. You send me $200 or $300. I'll spend a whole day in Orlando recording that area for you, and then those videos will help me. You covered my travel expense, and you'll get the content you want. So please don't be shy to hit me up, Southern Life YT. You know what's up. This is Jose. We're here to help you with whatever the crap you need, and helping people is the purpose of this channel.